Welcome, everybody. I'm Diana Adkins, and tonight we're here to talk about Artist of the Spirit's Coach Training Program. And I'm very excited. Heather Ash and I created this program over the last couple of years, and it was like a coming together because we've both done a lot of the work that's involved with that, both the coaching work. I was fortunate, I got trained by Heather Ash, and we've done that, and we've also been doing the energetic and shamanic work, both of us for quite a few years with that. And so it was really fun to start bringing them both together and to bring them together in a program that will both support you as you're doing the work, so that you can support others. It's all around when you're going through this program, you are going through the program yourself. So there's a tremendous amount of support for you as a person, which is something that I think is really, really exciting. So as you're learning to be a coach, you're also delving into yourself and the great mystery that you are. And part of the reason for that is that as you go through the tools, as you learn the skills and the tools that will support your clients, you're experientially going through them yourself. And so you'll have so much more to bring to the table when you are coaching other people, because you've been there. You'll have been there and you will have done that. And that is incredibly important. The coach training is also where it is all done by phone. And the reason for that, I believe we've also said on our website, is that you're going to be coaching that way. So the majority of people, not everybody, but the majority of people are out there coaching by phone right now. And the brilliance of that is that you can coach anybody anywhere on the planet. You really can. I've got, I've coached people in Europe, and I've got a client in Canada, and as long as we work the time schedules out, it works really, really well. So coaching by phone, when you learn that way, you are then able, it'll help it translate when you go out and you start coaching with other people. So that's another one of the real beauties of learning to coach through the telephone. Our classes are all by phone. This one webinar is an intro class, and so that you'll be really well prepared when you get out the other side. So coaching, I've been coaching for the last 9 years, and I love it. I do. I love coaching. I found that when I first came to Texas, I sat down and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I was tired of being the CEO and CFO of nonprofits. And I felt into it, and I wanted flexibility. I wanted to make an hourly rate that enabled me to not work 40 hours a week, because I was tired of that. I'd been doing it. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. I wanted a great environment. And I really wanted to be able to schedule my time. I wanted to be my own boss also. And when I went through all of that, I think it was in December, all of a sudden in January, Heather Ash started up a whole coach training program. And so through that, I realized that I'd gotten everything I wanted. All my dreams had come true and what I wanted to do for work. And the other big thing was I wanted to have my work incorporate my spirit. I wanted to be able to bring all of me, not just the accountant, not just the business management part. I wanted to use my spirit. I wanted to use my spirituality. And so coaching is a brilliant way to combine all of those things into your life so that you're not one thing during the day and as something else on evenings and weekends. And in truth, I actually use my coaching practice as my spiritual practice. And that has served me greatly, because throughout it, it means I'm practicing. Every time I'm coaching, I'm opening to spirit. I'm opening to intuition. I'm opening to higher guidance. And over all of these years, I've come to rely on that very, very heavily. And with it doesn't take long to gain the experience that then supports your continually opening up to all of you. And that, I think, is the other reason that coaching, especially in the Artist of the Spirit style, is so dynamic, because like I said, it is my spiritual practice. So this whole thing tonight is around questions and answers. And so I've got a wonderful, our goddess of admin over there in technology, and she's looking at the chat room. So you can go in. You should all have a chat room up there and the ability to ask questions. She'll be signaling me at various points, and we'll actually try to take most of the questions at the end. I also have Heather Ash here. She's going to come on at one point and visit with you as well. So go ahead and get your questions in. They'll go into a queue, and we'll answer them when we get a little further down in the program here. So one of the things that I wanted to do is put up a poll. We've got 3 polls for you today, and Christy's going to control that. And the poll has got several answers, and this one is, why would you want to be a coach? So Christy's popping that poll up, and it should appear on, I believe, the right side of your screen. So go ahead and take a look at the answers. I don't think I included, well, I don't really, I just wanted to see a webinar, but there's several answers there, so I'll give it a minute while you check those out. While you're doing that, I'll talk a little more too. We're starting this first session of Artists of the Spirit in this month, July, on the 21st. But we'll also be offering it. We're going to try to offer 3 sessions a year, which is sometimes helpful for people. If July 21st is too quick for you, then you'll be able to start it again, probably October, November. And do we have poll responses?
We do have poll responses. So for change in career, it's 0%. Freedom in lifestyle is 5%. Add to my skills is 30%. And all of the above is at 60% right now.
Well, I don't know if y'all could hear that, but all of the above on the poll was 60%. Add to my skills was 30%.
Yep.
And
9% freedom and lifestyle.
9% for freedom and lifestyle.
And 0 for change in career. And it's still fluctuating as people are answering the poll.
Okay, well, we'll get more answers later. So yeah, thank you. So what was the 60%?
All of the above.
All of the above. Great. Well, then a lot of you are exactly where I was when I started being a coach. And it's, again, it's such a rewarding career, because the joy that you have of just, you're not here to fix anybody. That's not the point of coaching. The point of coaching is to support somebody to learn how to fix themselves. So we're great. People bounce, our clients will bounce off of us, and we're holding this beautiful container, a very steady space for them to be who they are. And we're also sitting in a place that's a lot more objective than they are, and so we can think outside the box. We can go in and see things more clearly than they will, because we're not stuck in it. We're not all caught up in what's going on. And so with that, we're able to offer reflection, offer suggestions, inspire them and cheerlead them and hold them as they make the changes in their lives. And that is incredibly rewarding. It's really, really helpful, though, to realize and understand deeply, it's not your job to fix them. So those of you that, because several people have asked, well, how do I do this? What if I can't fix them? And I go, it's okay, you don't have to. Your job is to help them explore. Your job is to expand and help them to explore themselves and explore what's happening in their lives. And so given that, you get to relax. You get to be there. You get to track them. You get to hold a container of safety. I know I have some clients that use me because they live in places where they don't have other spiritual people. I know that some of my clients have been using me for business advice and a variety of things where they don't exactly have an immediate problem that they're working out, but that they've just wanted to continue. And that's one of the beauties of coaching. I tend to like people to graduate if they progress and they no longer need me, but I found a lot of my clients have stayed, that they have wanted the reflection and they've wanted a continuing relationship, which also makes it really, really rewarding. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the syllabus, go over that. The first week, we're going to talk to you about why coach and what a coach is and what a coach is not, because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of people make assumptions about what a coach is supposed to be. So it's really helpful to understand what you're not, like you're not there to fix people. And we'll go over general guidelines and understanding what your true work is. The next week is all around active listening, and this is really fascinating. I mean, I love it, but not everybody knows how to listen. And asking pertinent questions and then learning how to stop talking. There's an article in there called TTT from my own experience learning how to teach English, and it's helpful to realize sometimes we just start talking, but the client isn't going to get anywhere. They're not going to grow as quickly if we're talking and they're not. So asking questions, and then the second is also all around how the various coaching forms, different ideas and things like that. In the third week, we talk about how do you hold a container? Because that's what we're doing. We're holding a container, and we've got several chapters on that around holding an energetic container, holding big ones and small ones. And again, we're talking about that space and creating that safe space. We also talk about the gifts of resistance and strife and grounding. We start there with grounding and shielding. And after that at that third week, that's where you'll start your first energetic work and start to learn to use the grounding and shielding to help understand energy. And then we move on. In the fourth, we work with obstacles and strategies. The fifth goes into general information, ideas, and experimentation. And experimentation is brilliant in coaching because frequently people are very much afraid to make a change. And if you tell them, I'm going to have to change this for the rest of my life, a part of them is going to go, no, I don't want to do that. So if you support them by running an experiment, say, hey, well, let's just try it for 2 weeks. Then they're often able to relax and then move into trying it out and gaining new evidence. So the art of experimentation is brilliant. Week 6 moves into a lot of unraveling of strategies and emotional work that you'll get to share. And you'll be going through all of this yourself. It follows in week 7, we really start with the shamanic and energetic work. And we do that for 4 different classes. So there are 4 different weeks where we're focused on the energetic tools and the shamanic tools. And so we start you off with some of the simpler tools so that you can start moving energy, understanding, and having practical experience. And we really support you to practice these tools. A lot of you may know some of them, and I promise you won't know all of them. So we're working through those and we move into shamanic journeying and your child work and a whole variety of the different tools. And you can see all this on the website. When we get into the shamanic healing, Heather Ash is teaching the week 9 and 10, and that's a brilliant practice. It's incredibly powerful. We move then into special needs, and for both the energetic and shamanic tools and the special needs, I'm going to put in an extra class in this program because oftentimes you're going to want more support. You won't feel as comfortable with those. And so there's going to be extra support and an extra call in both of those weeks. And then we move into the self-care and money and marketing. And marketing is a really fun, there's a lot of information there. And I think I'm going to switch it around so that the marketing is the last class. And with that, you learn what your niche is, learn all the different ways that you can describe yourself, what areas you want to work in. And then we give you a lot of references because there's a tremendous amount of information out there on the internet around all of this. So do we have another poll? We're going to put up one more poll, and I'm going to let Christy choose. I put up 2, but.
Okay. The next poll is why Artist of the Spirit coaching?
So why would you like our coaching? Because frankly, there are a million programs out there. And while you're answering the poll that she's putting up, I'm going to tell you why I think you might enjoy it. For starters, the combination of tools and skills that we're teaching you are hard to find in a program that's this cost effective and this short. The ones I've looked at were anywhere from 9 months to 1.5 years and 3 to 4 times more expensive. We're not here to train you to be a shaman. That's not our role at all. And yet we are giving you energetic and shamanic tools to support clients in journeying. And Heather Ash and I have been using these tools for a very, very long time, and they work really well in a coaching environment. And that combination, I think we've tried to price this in a range that's reasonable. And given that I will say it's 13 weeks, it is an intensive. I think the website, we're saying expect to spend up to 10 hours a week doing this program. And so 2 hours of that's the class. And after the first month, you're going to be coaching somebody else and you'll be being coached yourself. So that way you have the practice of coaching and being coached before you ever go out on your own. So you'll have 2 months of that as well in there. And we want you to succeed. We've designed something that we've both tested, Heather much longer than me, but myself for the last 9 years, so we know it works. And I would take it. I really would. It's cost effective, and it's not going to take you a year and a half or 9 months to be certified as a coach. So how did we get poll results?
We did. So I like the energy shamanic training is the highest at 71%.
Oh, 71% like the shamanic and energetic training.
And the next highest was want to learn Toltec principles, which was at 24%.
24% wanted Toltec principles.
And don't know, it crossed my inbox, 5%.
And 5% were honest. I tucked that one in. Don't know, it crossed my inbox. So we're going to save questions till the end, and I'm going to invite Heather Ash to come over and talk with you for a little bit. So I'm going to get up and let her slide in.
Excellent. Thanks, Diana. So we are so happy to be able to offer this coaching program. And Diana has been bugging me about it for about a year or two, saying, we really need to offer this. We really need to offer this. And so finally it's here. I know that we've been talking about it and putting out little hints that it was coming. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is the shamanic healing energy work part of the program. And just to mirror what Diana said, is that what's so beautiful about the Artists of the Spirit coaching program is that we bring together both really practical how to support people in taking action. We all know sometimes how challenging it can be to go towards something that we're really passionate about, that we really want to have in our lives. And so to be able to support people in running experiments, in taking new actions and seeing life in a new way and getting unstuck is so joyful. And also, as Diana said, that we also go through our own process. We also learn as we're going through the coaching program as well. So there's the real practical side. And then when there's times that people get stuck in such a way that they've tried experiments, they've taken new action, they've looked at the agreements, and nothing seems to shift. And that's when the shamanic energy work can come in. So I was blessed to learn this technique from a man named Wes Bailey, and to then modify it as I used it over the years and bring in Toltec wisdom, to bring in some of the different elements that I've been working with. And it's a combination of what I think of as guided recapitulation. So you're going in with your client to see what's going on, what's the agreements or beliefs that have gotten stuck in the body. We use symbology, we use energy work, we use, I'm going to run you through it in a minute because it's so cool. We do a lot of different techniques, but you'll learn the pathways of going into people with them, being a guide, being an ally, being a support, to help them to see where are the places that it's gotten stuck in their body, in their emotional body, in their spiritual body, in their energetic body, and then tools to untangle. And so often people come out of these shamanic energy work sessions with big, big changes that maybe don't even make sense to them. But because it happens on a body level, it happens on an energetic level, there's a lot of unwinding that we can do. So I love the combo of both those different pieces that are part of the Artists of the Spirit. And that's really what we're helping people to do, is to come back to having the energy, having the awareness, having the presence in their life, and also learning how to be their own ally and friend and cheerleader, so that when they're in their life, they're able, finally, they're able to see the positive, to get excited about obstacles, to see new creative ways to make solutions from the work that they've done with you. And that the shamanic work also teaches people how to do it for themselves, because that's something that's really important. We're not here to create dependent relationships with people so they lean on us for the rest of their lives. And I believe everybody should have a coach, always, always, always. And we also want to empower the people that we work with. And what often happens is as you empower people more and more, they're not leaning on you as much, but as Diana said, but they still want to have reflection. And that's a huge gift that we give to ourselves as we go through something like a coaching program, because you'll learn how to do that for yourself, as well as to give to other people. So let's explore, let's do a little tiny mini shamanic energy work session together so you get a tiny taste of what it's like. And taking a breath into your belly. And imagine a color that you want to work with today that feels good to you. Let any color arise in your mind's eye. And now imagine that you can take that color, whatever that color is, and make it into a flame. So imagine that color as a bright flame. Good. And imagine that you can now take that flame and bring that flame into your heart. So whatever color that flame is, imagine that flame coming into your heart and illuminating your heart, illuminating the space around your heart. And to notice if there's any armoring, any places of tension, any images that you get around your relationship with your heart. Is there any place you've been protecting yourself? Any place you haven't been living from your truest, deepest passions? Any place you've tried to play small? Just noticing, being curious. Imagine that you can shine this light around. And open your eyes to see what is the landscape around your heart. Using your imagination, letting any symbols or images arise. And if you notice something that feels stuck or that feels like pressure or feels constricting, imagine that you can shine that fire, that bright fire energy towards whatever it is that feels stuck in your heart. And if you don't notice anything that feels stuck, just take that flame and just bathe this area with that light. And for those of you that find any place within your heart, any image that arises, that feels like it's connected to a piece of stuck energy, an old agreement, just imagine you can shine that light towards it, to illuminate it, to get more information. Get curious. What is that? Be open. And then to ask your being, to imagine, to ask your being, what is the ways that I limit my heart? In what ways do I limit my heart? You can talk directly to any structure that you see or any constriction. You can talk to your heart. Just noticing, gathering the information. And then asking your heart, what do you need? You can explore what's the old agreement that's in your heart. What old agreement might you be holding in your heart? And then opening to the wisdom of your heart, what new agreement would you like to put in its place? So letting it arise from the wisdom of your heart. And putting your hands on your heart, taking a breath into your heart area. Just taking a moment to share your gratitude with your heart and commit to stay connected to it as you step forward into your life. Good. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and be present here. So that was a teeny, teeny, teeny taste of what we can do going in. And when I've done shamanic energy work with people, I've had sessions where people that have been terrified of water their entire life and they had no idea why. And we did one session and some really interesting things showed up. And afterwards, they weren't afraid of water anymore. I've had situations where people had dealt with sexual abuse and had a lot of flashbacks and were really struggling with their sexuality. And after we went in and did some cleaning and opening and releasing old agreements, releasing old energies that they had taken on from the perpetrator, creating some more spaciousness, putting new agreements in, they went out and their life was completely different. It just rewired their system from the inside. And so sometimes we have very dramatic changes that happen one session. Sometimes it takes more time, that over session as your client gets to feel more comfortable with you and as you peel the layers back, that you can go deeper and deeper towards healing, towards releasing, towards reclaiming something new. So it's really exciting. So any questions for me or for Diana? And we do have one more poll, which I really do think we should put up at the end. So we'll do it at the very, very end. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to chat. Christy's pointing. And I do have one question that I'm going to answer. Good girl. Yes, I remember. Thank you. So that question is a question that people have asked me. I've had several people ask me already, which is, what's the difference between the Artist of the Spirit Coach Training Program and Warrior Goddess Facilitator Training? So some of you know that I've been talking about a new program that I'm creating that is a Warrior Goddess Facilitator Training. And the two programs are very complementary, but also different. So I want to talk about both of them. So if you're deciding if you want to do one or both, that you can then have more information around that. So the coach training program is specifically if you're interested in doing one-on-one coaching over the phone or in person. You can also use it as a way to do in-person coaching. But it's something you're passionate, you want to help people individually. You feel steady in your own life. You're ready, and you don't have to be like, your life doesn't have to be perfect, I'm not saying that. But that you feel grounded in your life and you're excited to do your own work. You're ready to like dive in and like, yes, I want to go into a coach training program so I can do coaching and learn and be coached over the next 3 months in a really intensive way. And that feels really exciting. And that you also love holding space for other people, that you're curious about humans, that you're willing to listen, that you also don't have a huge urge to fix people. And if you do, we'll help you with that, because that's a big piece of the coach training, is how to stand next to someone rather than saying, here's what you need to do. Okay, so you'll really learn through the coach training so many different tools, and Diana is so excellent at this, in sharing the tools that she's learned through her many years of coaching around how to be the most effective coach possible, so that you're really standing next to your clients and helping them see what possibilities are and helping to broaden their vision so that they're empowered. Okay, so that's the coach training. You're really ready to dive in and you're ready for an intensive because it's intense. There's a lot of information that we bring throughout. So Diana every week will be giving you homework assignments. You'll be doing coaching. There's reading. So there's a lot of material. It's all doable, but it's about 5 hours a week. So you have to be willing, or 5 to 10, Diana says, 5 to 10. That's a lot, okay? And your life will be transformed at the end of the program. But you want to make sure you have the time to dedicate to being coached, to coaching, and to doing the readings, and to being part of the training, which is just the training is 2 hours a week. And then you'll have a lot of outside stuff to do, okay? Which is all yummy, all really empowering. So be ready. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know exactly what you're supposed to do. That's why you're in the training, okay? But you want to have a sense of excitement and an ability to put energy towards the training. The Warrior Goddess Facilitator training, the difference is that that program specifically for women, it's specifically for creating groups and community. And at the end of the Warrior Goddess Facilitator training, you'll learn a lot of different ways around how to hold a container for groups, how to be a leader, how to use your teaching skills as a way to really intensify your own process and clearing. And that you'll also, at the end, be able to teach a 4-part series around Warrior Goddess training. And you'll also be able to teach a 1-day workshop that is very crazy, fabulous, empowering to people. So you'll have very specific frameworks and outlines of what to bring and what to teach. And it also then will help you in any other leadership teaching places that you're at. So if you have the resources and the time and you're really wanting to make a big change in your life or to gain more skills to bring to what you're already doing both of them is fabulous, would be awesome. If you're wanting to more focus on one-on-one coaching, Artists of Spirit. If you're wanting more to learn to work with women, to work with groups, to explore what does it mean to be a leader, Warrior Goddess Facilitator training. Okay. Either one or both is good. And if you have any other questions about that or any other questions for Diana after this broadcast, if you're watching the recording of this broadcast, or if in the middle of the night tonight you wake up and you go, wait, I didn't ask that question, just email us. We are so happy to share. And there's also Diana's there's a number, I believe, on the website that you can get hold of Diana directly. I think that's true. I'm looking at her.
Send a question.
Send a question. There you go. Send a question. Email. You can do it.
And then I'll give them my phone number.
Okay, perfect. So come on in. We're bringing Diana, so the two of us can open to answer any questions that you might have.
Hi.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So Christy's been monitoring the questions, and I remember only one, and that was how much it cost. And so it's $1,800 for the 13 weeks, about 3 months of the training. And we've got 2 options. You can pay it in full, or you can pay it in 3 installments of $620 each. So that answers that one. Any other questions?
The next question is all the class online?
Yes, I believe it is, isn't it? Because we have the recordings of the Tuesday night classes, then all of the written materials online. And we're giving it to you weekly, and we'll give you a book at the end. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't want you jumping ahead. If you're anything like me and most people, you'll get all the stuff and you're going to jump ahead to something. And we need you to stay focused week by week by week. So all of the teachings are online. The recordings of the class will be online. We do ask that you try not to miss more than 3. It could affect your certification. You get a lot from the breakout groups. At the end of each class, we go into breakout groups where you get to share and talk with other trainees about what was presented and what your experience is, and work with things like that.
Can you repeat the cost of the program?
$1,800 if you pay it in one time, and it's $620 if you do an installment.
Let's talk about that just for a second, because some people are like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And some people are like, why are you charging that little for this coach training program? And it's a certification. And so it's a business. And so that's why we charge. We're on the low end of the spectrum around coaching programs.
Yes, we are.
Because we're new, because we're, that's a piece of it. But the biggest piece is we're both so passionate about getting this work out. And so we want to make it affordable. And so we spent a lot of time looking at what we feel is fair for the program and also what we feel like people could afford. And so it's, if you come back to, if you're like, it's a lot of money, it's a certification. It's something that you're going to put towards that you can bring that money back. And it's going to change your life in that way. So
I think several people that have asked questions about that are interested in the program have said, well, I've been coaching for a while, but I need formal training and I want the certification. Because as much as I don't wish that it was true, it pretty much is out there that if you're certified, you're going to have more oomph. People will trust you more. You will have something behind you that says, okay, I have gone through a training program. I'm not just winging it on my own. And the skills that you learn are incredibly important for coaching.
And the structure too, you'll get different like intake forms and different polls that people can do to track where they need support. There's a lot of resources that we've put into the program that is so supportive for you as a coach.
More questions?
Daytime of the phone calls, and I also want to ask, or I think should be included, is the length of the phone calls.
Okay, the question was around the time of the day and then the length of the calls. So unless we get a significant or several international people, the calls will be in Central Time at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays.
PM.
Thank you. And they'll go for roughly 2 hours. Occasionally, your breakout groups might go a little over, but that one's up to you. So count on 2 hours, 7 o'clock Central Time.
And the thing with the program is that everything's recorded. And so we really encourage people to come on live because of the breakout aspect and then keeping up. And you can watch the recordings. And if we do get a significant amount of folks that are from Europe or Asia or Australia, then Diana has graciously offered to do another class in the middle of the day to help those folks, because then that translates to your evening. And might be a more doable time. So if you are an international, or if you know you can't make Tuesday nights, but you can make Tuesday day, just email and yeah, then we'll work it out. And everything's recorded, everything's up on the website. So I've also talked to a lot of people that went through our initial program that said that they went back and listened to some of the calls because there was so much information. It really helped them to know they could go back and reference it. And you'll always have the website to go back to even after the training is done.
And speaking of that, once you are through the training, we'll have a monthly talk to. I apologize. What am I calling it?
Talk to the trainer? Talk
to the trainer. It'll be a place where I'll hold a call, and anybody that's graduated from the program, every month we'll have a call where we just get together and talk about any questions you've got, anything you've hit, anything you forgot. So it's an opportunity to offer continuing support to all of the graduates in our program.
I love that.
I do too.
So cool.
You know, it'll be loosely structured around what you want to know. And so that will be there for as long as the program's going, so that you have that continuing support when you're out in the world coaching and you hit something and go, help, you know, has anybody else done that?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can always email us questions too. We have questions that'll come in of someone that's coached someone and said, what do I do with this? And so often it's been so beautiful with the new coaches is they'll describe what they did and I'm like, yes, you nailed it. But then we can support you and guide you and cheerlead you on as well.
And we'll also set up, each session is going to have a Facebook page. That's a secret private group. So it's just your group. And I think Facebook is going on forever. Yeah, and so it'll be there again as a place to ask questions and to talk with your own group down the road, because it'll stay there. Yeah.
So we have a couple questions coming in about the Warrior Goddess Facilitator training program. And so first one is, when will that one start?
Okay.
How long will it be?
Great.
And the cost.
Okay, so questions about Warrior Goddess Facilitator training. When's it starting? How long is it going to be? What's the cost? The answer is, I don't know. but I can give you a ballpark. So what I'm working on right now is starting the program September or October. I'm hoping for September, but I'm doing one thing at a time. So, and I have it scheduled right now to be about 8 to 9 weeks long. It'll be online. It'll be via webcast or phone. And it'll also include one live session, because part of the training is I want to be with you physically so that you can learn some ways of doing experiential teachings with people. It's a really important piece of the Warrior Goddess Facilitator training. And so you have an option of coming. There's a Warrior Goddess weekend, October 2nd through the 4th, that I'll then add on 2 extra days after that will be specifically for Warrior Goddess Facilitator training. And the cost right now is looking like it's going to be about $1,000. So nothing set in stone. I have to talk to my coach. But once I work through it with my coach, I'll get back to you. But that's kind of the framework that I'm looking at right now around that facilitator program. And there'll be different layers. So that will be the first layer of the facilitator program. And then there'll be an advanced facilitator training program as well for monthly groups to meet. So I hope that answers your question. Stay on the mailing list. Keep your eyes open. More information coming. And one more question that I've also gotten is sometimes people will ask, how much of the facilitator training am I doing? How much is Diana doing? Diana's doing the bulk of the training because I'm traveling a lot. But we both equally wrote the writings for the program. So that's there. And then for this session, then I'll be doing the shamanic energy work weeks 9 and 10, I think it is. So I'll do that with you. Although Diana is excellent at the shamanic energy work. I love it, so I want to share it. So I begged her to let me do that part, and she agreed.
Yay. Of course.
Of course. Yeah. And then I'm also helping with the final certification. So for those of you that, some of you may want to go through the program and you're actually not interested in being certified. You just want to learn more about coaching and how to support people in your life. You don't have to go through the final certification because there is a process with that. But I'm involved in that final certification process as well.
Do we have any more questions?
We do. We have a question on if scholarships will be offered.
We're not in the habit of offering full scholarships. We haven't historically done that, and we're going to have to talk. Heather's just gotten back into town. It has come up, and we honestly haven't had an opportunity to talk about it. And so we'll have to. So I know one person has sent in a question. So if you're not that person, go on to the website. There's a question area. Go in and ask. And then when we've had an opportunity to sit down and talk about it, we'll let you know.
Great. Next question is, how do you, as a program facilitator, get the certification? And how is it different from other coaching certificates?
If I understand it correctly, which I might not, essentially right now, coaching, anyone could come in and say that they're certifying you for a coach. The field of coaching, to our advantage, is not regulated yet. And so we're combining our expertise and our years of working together for Artists of the Spirit, and we're certifying you. The Artists of the Spirit program is certifying you.
And the certification process is you go through each of the classes, and then within a certain amount of time, you'll have a month or 2 months to get ready for the certification. Some people do it right away. Some people wait a little bit longer and do some more study and go back and review the places they feel like they needed extra support, or do extra free coaching sessions to get more practice. But there's a written test, and then there is a place where you coach one of us, and that we then evaluate. And one of the things that we also do is that as you're going through the program, you're coaching someone in the program or several people in the program. So you do peer coaching, and all of those are recorded. And so Diana goes in and listens to some of the places where you're coaching, and then writes
Yay,
review.
Or
Writes review.
consider this.
So just support of like, this worked really great. Here's another way that you could have answered this with your client. And so there's that support. And then we also have a peer questionnaire at the end. So the person that you're working with in coaching then also says, what you feel your strengths were and what your weaknesses are. And for us, our portion of the certification is to really help you be the best coach you can be. And so we're going to give you really clear feedback. We're going to help to support you and maybe give you some extra homework. We'll work on this a little bit. And then the written part of the coaching will then help you to see what different scenarios, what would you do? It's going to help to raise your creative juices. And then we'll do the final coaching. And if we feel like you're not quite ready, because we're going for quality, we're going that you're ready to go out and coach anybody that shows up at your doorstep. We feel like you're not ready, then we'll support you in saying, go back to week 3 and review that piece again. And then we'll redo the coaching session. So you'll get a lot of support around it. And
you're also coached by me at the very beginning. We sit down so I can get to know you and have a really great coaching session. And then towards the end, once you've been coaching and up here and being coached back and forth, then we get together again. And I then reflect, as Heather was saying, on the things that I've observed listening to you. And then you get to coach one of us and we get to coach you again. So it's in depth. I mean,
comprehensive.
We want you to succeed, for sure.
Since we're talking about this certification, I'm just going to skip one question, but ask this one. Is it valid internationally? And is it validated by an institution?
Yes, it's validated internationally. No, it's not validated by, well, that's not true. It is validated by institution, our institution, TOSI. Here's the thing, is that, as Diana said, there isn't a national, it's not like massage or like yoga. There's no international yoga federation or international coaching federation like there is with yoga or massage or any of the different certifications in that way. There is something called the International Federation of Coaches, IFC, and they're the ones that have created the most container, but they made it up basically, and not all coaches go under that. So that's like one big thing. But again, with the coaching, the certification process is around you being certified by TOSI, by the organization that people respect and that have a lot of knowledge that it's Toltec based, that it's shamanic based, and that it's also really good work. So that's the backup that you have, is who you're being coached by. And then also the organization TOSI, which has been around for 13 years now. We've been doing coaching for 13 years, pretty much.
And in all my time, I've never been asked about that. Somebody did ask me that recently. Well, what about that? Has anyone ever asked you if you're certified? I said, no, I've never been asked that at all. So, next question.
Okay, realistically, how long could it take to be self-supporting with this as an occupation?
Good question.
It depends what you charge as a coach. That's a piece of it. And it also depends on what you're passionate about, what your niche is.
And how aggressive you are in marketing yourself. How, you have to go out and market, which is why we've got quite a lot of information on that. And everyone gets to start with their own email base. Every one of us. I was reading something recently that said almost every human being has got at least 100 people in their emails to start with. But we give you a lot of information on how to do that, ways to do it. There's all kinds of ways and resources out there.
But if you think about it, most coaches charge around $100 a session. Some people charge less, some people charge more. So let's just say average, you charge $100 a session. And maybe you start off at $50 a session because you're new and you're getting into the market. Or perhaps you do some free coaching, which we totally recommend is a great way to start a coaching practice, is to offer free coaching to as many people as you can get your hands on. Because 1, you'll get to practice, and 2, you'll get the word out. And that, let's say you do $50 or $100 sessions. I'm just going to make it 100, and then you can split it if you think of 50, or you can double it if you want to do business coaching. Because business coaching, $200, $300 a session, totally normal. So you do 4 sessions a week, $400 a week, $1,600 a month. there isn't a lot of overhead. And this is something that's fabulous around coaching. It's not like you have to have huge equipment or
An office.
an office.
Mhm.
You can do it from anywhere, and you need your cell phone, and that's about it. So it really depends on what your network is, and as Diana said, what you're willing to put into. We'll be teaching you a lot of different ways to market yourself as a coach, and then also other resources around that. But you have to be just honest with yourself around how much do you feel like you can put into it. And you're going to have skills. The question is, do you have a niche market? And that's something that Diana will talk about as well, what a niche market is, because each of us has specialties. And if you can get clear about what your specialty is, then you can penetrate that market more easily.
I would say several of our people, the people that we did a trial run pre-program, several of them already had clients before they finished our program. You know, just from talking about what they could do, because that's what sets us apart from so many of the other programs, and why I like this. You know, I do like this a lot. It's the fact that you've got the shamanic tools and the energetic tools. And I meant it. I mean, I went in and researched. There are very few programs out there that are going to give you that period. And the ones I found were between a 9-month to a year and a half long. And I think one was as much as $9,000. So it's really helpful in the sense to have those shamanic and energetic practices, because that's what our students or our clients, our former students who are graduating now, are saying about it, that they've already got clients lined up. Yeah.
Next question is, when does the coaching class start?
Good question.
Coaching, July 21st, 7 o'clock Central Time.
Tuesday nights, and runs for then 13 weeks plus, with lots of other support. So I love that this round, we did a coaching over the summer, which was our test run. We learned a lot from that. And one of the things that Diana is adding on is other support classes for people to get additional support. And then also the weekly consistent classes as well. So July 21st.
And I am limiting this. The classes will hold no more than 14 people. And I'm doing that for you folks. I mean, I'm interested in delivering a quality program, and I don't want to be spread so thin myself that I'm not giving you the care and attention I think you need, you know, to move through this and to learn the tools. And you can ask most of my students and clients, I'm very, very available. And because my heart is for you to succeed. And so the classes will be limited. There will be no more than 14 in each one. So if you are thinking about it, I know we had over 100 people signed up for this webinar tonight. Let us know, you know, at least get the application and see what you think.
Okay, and then we have another question on, would you consider a discounted price for those of us who want to do both trainings?
We're going to have to talk about that, because you're hitting us with a question that hasn't been discussed yet. But you can email Heather Ash about that.
Yeah. So if you were the one that wrote that question, or you're like, yes, I want to do both, then email us and we will talk.
Okay, and then Vanessa has 2 questions. So she wants to know if she can take the Facilitator program without being in the US, and does the certification have an extra cost?
Great question. So yes, you can do the Warrior Goddess Facilitator training anywhere in the world, and yay, because it'll be fabulous to bring it to Colombia. I love that. And no, there's no additional cost for the certification. The certification is part of the coach training. So great.
And that looks like it's it for questions. So
Awesome.
We probably want to go ahead and do the last poll.
Oh, good thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, last
poll.
poll is coming up.
Here we go.
Drum roll. What is the last poll?
The last poll
The one that Christy wrote.
is,
Good one. Awesome.
what would prevent you from doing this exciting coaching program?
Fabulous, incredible coaching
Yeah.
program. What would hold you back? So we're curious.
So the poll's gone up live now.
Okay.
So go in and answer, because we are curious.
Start poll.
Okay, it's
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
now
up
it's
now.
up.
Okay, now it's up.
So yes, if you haven't visited our website, go and look. There is an area for questions, and then there's an
Lots
area.
of info.
There's tremendous amount of info. So make sure you go up to and hover over the More button in the top menu bar, because that's got a lot under it too.
artistofthespiritcoachtraining.org.
Yes. And also, if you're interested in getting the application, that's on the registration page. So there's a question, a Q&A thing where you can just fill in a question and ask anything you want on the front page, our first page. And if you're interested in getting the application, go to the registration page, and there's a similar looking form on that. Fill that out, and I will send you the application information.
Easy.
Yeah. How are we doing on the poll?
All right, so we have, and it's still fluctuating because people are still answering, but at 28%, too expensive. At 42%, nothing, I'm doing it. At 30%, I want to do a later session.
So 42% said there's nothing wrong, they're doing it. What was the later session?
30%, it just,
Great.
yeah.
And we will be offering it again. I should say Diana will be offering it again, and she will tell me when.
October, November. Haven't figured that out exactly yet, but October or November, it'll start. Okay.
Yay.
Well, then I think we'll close tonight. Let everyone go about their evening. Just thank you so much for joining us. I always love being on camera with Heather.
Yes. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email us. You can email Diana at artistofspirit@tosi.org, or you can email me at heatherash@tosi.org. Either way,
Great.
we'll pass it back and forth.
Well, thank you again so much. Have a great night.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Good night.
Thank you.
Click.